everybody, welcome back to my channel. I am Jessica and this is Unite Inside, and we help people unite with all the parts inside of them. And in this video, this is part 2 of how to discover your true self. And in this video, we're actually going to talk about how to stop identifying with your ego, with your identity, and instead start identifying with your true self, with your soul, with the vibration of your higher self. Okay? And so let's begin. The reason why I'm making this video is because it's just very important to know this, because once you are living in alignment with your true self, in alignment with the vibration of your soul, of your higher self, you actually can get everything that you want. You can manifest everything. It's so effortless, and you can live a life of passion, a life that feels good, a life that feels easy, a life that feels like a vacation. It's so beautiful. Imagine living a life where you feel very happy, when you feel very energized all the time, when you're living your mission. And that feels very good to you. That feels very energizing and passionate. Imagine that you feel alive. You're very present with yourself and with your life, and you're finally living. A lot of people aren't living. And that's what we're supposed to be doing here, is living, is breathing the air, the beautiful air, and just looking around us and looking at trees, looking at everything, and feeling our aliveness so deeply in our soul that we are away from drama, away from stress, away from misery, away from everything that can bring our energy down. Okay? And so how can you do this for yourself? How can you live from the vibration of your soul so that you can no longer experience misery, experience stress, experience the opposite of what you want, things going wrong, all of that? How can you prevent yourself from experiencing that? And I'm telling you, the secret is to live from the vibration of your soul. So, when you came here into this world, I want to tell you something about you, about your story. And this is something that a lot of people aren't aware of. Most people aren't aware of. A lot of people really think that they came into this world and have been born and created, and this is their first time being alive. And this is just who they are. A lot of us don't remember what happened before, and that's because we actually intended to not remember. We have this thing called the veil of forgetfulness. It's a veil that makes you forget where you came from. Some people choose to not have that veil of forgetfulness that much, so we can remember our past lives, but most people don't remember. And so we don't look at ourselves as this consciousness, this awareness that comes into this world to become more of what it actually is, and to expand more, to desire more. It does not remember. A lot of us do not remember that. And because we don't remember that, we can actually start to identify with a lot of other things that has nothing to do with us. Because it's almost like the information about who we actually are is lost. And I came here to tell you and to remind you that you are more than just this body. You are not even this body. You might be in a human body now, but that doesn't mean that that's all you are. And a lot of us, when we identify with all these judgments and labels and stuff that we get from society, our parents, schools, all of that, we actually start to form like an identity, which is our ego. And it's like, as soon as you come alive, your parents give you a name, and then you start to identify with it. And then they give you, they tell you that this is the country you're living in. And then you start to identify with the country that you live in. And then they tell you, this is the group of people that you should identify with. This is who you are. This is your race, everything. And so, since a very early age, you start to form an identity. Since you open your eyes, they tell you, this is who you're supposed to be. This is who you are. And then you start to identify in a blind way, not really challenging these beliefs. And a lot of these beliefs and things that we identify ourselves with, and labels and judgments, we don't even like them, and they don't even fit us. We don't feel that they resonate with us. They're pretty limiting, and a lot of them are bad. A lot of us identify with being someone that is not good enough, someone that is not worthy, someone that is a burden, someone that doesn't deserve to get what they want. We identify with that. We believe this about ourselves, that this is who we are. And it feels bad and it hurts, and it comes from pain. It comes from experiences of hurt, of hurt and disappointment and all of that. And we identify, okay, this is who we are now. And that's your identity. That's who you think you are, whatever it is that you think about yourself. You are James, you are John, you are um, whatever your name is, and then you went through school, you went through this, and this meant this about you. When you went to work, this also meant something about you. You are this person that doesn't get a lot of money, or you are this person that is not that lucky in life. Whatever it is you've started identifying yourself with. Okay? And when we do this, it's very dangerous because it leads to us living a life where we are identifying with stuff that we don't even like, and it feels like we want to break free. Like a part of it feels like we're being choked, or like we're being almost like we are in a prison. A lot of us hope that we aren't the way we are, or that we aren't who we are, because we start to identify with whatever the meaning of the judgment is that we have labeled ourselves with. For example, if you identify with a certain country, if it's a poor country, or if it's like a you know, third world country, you might start to feel as though you're not as valuable as a person, or you're not as um, like worthy as other people from other countries. Whatever it is that you start to identify, or maybe it's your race. Maybe if you're black, or maybe if you're tan like me, and you have certain judgments on you, like, oh my god, this means this about you, this means this about you. It's all judgment. It doesn't mean anything about who we are. This is just a color. It's just a color. Okay? And we don't have to identify with anything because it has nothing to do with us, whether you're white or black or anything. There's nothing wrong with your color. This is just what other people think in general. A lot of people think a lot of bad things about certain things. You know, like maybe you were born in a certain type of family, and there is a certain judgment going around about that. But I want to tell you that you are not none of this. You are none of that. Okay, you are not none of that. A color doesn't mean anything about you. How can that mean something about who you are? Who you are is a soul. That's the thing. We are, like, we think that our color, whether it's white or black, that it like means something. Oh, it means that you are this. It doesn't mean anything. It literally does not mean anything. We are all the same when it comes to a soul level. On a soul level, we all have the same powers. We are all able to create a life of our own. We all have the same powers, and that's what you have to reach your core, who you actually are, and touch on it. And how can you find it? Is by realizing this first, is that you are more than who you actually are. You are more than who you think you are. And to start actually opening your eyes a little bit more when it comes to who you think you are. Like, are you really that? Are you really, um, you know, a burden? Because someone thought that you are a burden? Whatever it is, just start to really examine these beliefs about yourself. Okay, so that you can find the core of who you are. The core of who you are is unlimited. You have an unlimited potential. You have an unlimited potential, and it's very flexible. It's the space of, like, it's very free. When you touch on who you actually are, you are a presence, an awareness, and this presence is very absolute, which means that it doesn't change. It's actually like water, like who you actually are. Look at yourself like water. Water is water, right? Like it can be anything it wants to be. We can put pink liquid in it and it becomes pink, or we can put whatever we want in it. We can also cleanse it if we want, and then when you cleanse water, you cleanse it, you see that it is still pure, and it is still like this liquid that can be anything it wants to be. It can take any, it can take the shape of any place you put it in. Like it's very, that's who you are. I'm just trying to tell you more and more of who you are so that you can remember this in your bones, in your heart. Okay, so let's talk about how can you do this. How can you remember the truth of who you actually are? The first thing you need to do to learn and remember the truth of who you actually are is to practice awareness. Why is this very important? It's because when you start to practice awareness, you sit with yourself and you are aware and you are able to observe your identity, whoever you think you are. The thing about yourself that is very personal. I am this person, I am Jessica, and I feel this way about myself, and this is my life. That is the identity, okay? And we can all observe that identity, whatever it is. And then you can close your eyes and start to observe your identity consciously. Okay, this is how I feel, this is my thoughts, these are my beliefs. And the more you do this, I want you to set a timer every day. Every time you get up in the morning, set a timer of from 20 to 25, and it can be more than this, minutes, just practicing awareness. Close your eyes. I'm aware of my body. I'm aware of every sensation inside of me. I'm just getting to know every feeling that I have within me. I'm getting to know my mind and every single belief or thought in my mind. I'm just getting to know everything, and I am being very slow, intentional, and patient with all these parts of me without having to push them away. They are parts of me. They're not really me, but I have them inside of me. And so I have to love them. You know, it's like an entity that lives inside of you. That's what your identity is. And when you observe the feeling level, like the feeling state of who you are, and then if it's personal, it's like, oh, this is who I think I am, this is what I feel about myself, that is your identity. And I just want you to see that and observe it, because I want you to start to learn how to observe that identity that you have. Okay? And once you observe it every day for 20 minutes, 25, 30 minutes, you can make it longer. What I want you to do, the goal here is to make the realization, to finally realize that who you actually are is the one behind all the noise that's happening inside of you. The one behind your thoughts, you behind your feelings, behind your sensations in your body, your discomfort, or your um, just like feelings or emotions in general, all of that. I want you to know that the space that is observing, the observer, the conscious observer, when you sit here and you can observe everything inside of you, I want you to see, I want you to try to find that realization inside of you every time you do this meditation. The goal is to find this realization, to finally realize, okay, I am actually observing right now. I am not the one that has these thoughts. I'm not the one that has these feelings. This is my ego. This is not who I am. This is my ego. And so now that I'm observing this, who I actually am is the presence, the peaceful presence that's present with all these parts of me, that is present with the with the emotions that are going up and down. They can do whatever they want, and I'm not actually um, doing anything to, you know, control these feelings. If you want to know who you actually are, see the difference between you and your ego, ask yourself this question: can I control how I feel right now? Can I control how I feel right now? If you feel sad or happy or crazy, whatever it is, whatever feeling you have, can you really control that feeling? Like right now, if you want the feeling of sadness to go away, can you just say, go away? Or can you just make it go away? You can't. That's because that feeling is your ego. And it doesn't go away unless if you influence it. You have to influence it, right? You have to influence your feelings if you want them to change. Like by watching something that makes you happy, or by talking to yourself, or by trying to make yourself feel better. But you can't just be like, okay, stop feeling this way, and stop, and you stop. That's because it is not who you are. It is your ego that's actually holding on to that feeling, and you can guide your ego into feeling better, and you can influence your ego and interfere um, in the emotions, but you can't really change them or make them go away. You can observe them, and so that's the secret. That's the reason why you are not your feelings and you are not your ego, because that's your ego. And so when you go in your thoughts, same with your thoughts. You can't really change a thought. You don't make a thought pop up, right? You don't have control over that, do you? When you think of something, it's just that like a thought pops up on your mind, right? Why? Did you do that? You didn't really do that. Your mind did. Your ego did. Okay? That's what happens. Is that your ego pops up certain beliefs in you. And these beliefs are actually what your ego is thinking this whole time. So it is not really the consciousness, which is you. So when you do this, like I said, find the realization, okay, who am I really? I am this space that is holding space for everything. I am this awareness that is aware of everything too. I am able to observe, influence, lead. That's what I can do. And that means you have a choice. When you reach this point in your observation, in your practice, you have to understand at this point that you have a choice. If you are really not your ego, if you are really not this identity that you have right now that you're holding on to so much, then who are you really? There is more than. It just um, creates this new possibility that there is more of who you are than you think, than you've ever tried to explore or ever thought about. And that if you want to reach the point where you can reach your soul, you can penetrate your soul, then you have to be like, I am the awareness, practice this awareness so much to the point that you can finally realize that you're the one that's noticing everything. Okay? And that you don't have to believe or buy into what your mind thinks or what you're feeling. You do not have to give your power away to your ego. You never have to do that. A lot of us, they have, a lot of us have um, our egos on the driver's seat. Our egos, our emotions, we're just like, they're leading us everywhere we want. But we're the observer of them. And we have a choice. We can choose to believe in a certain belief that our mind has, or we can choose to create a different belief and lead our thoughts, think consciously of what we want to think of. And when you do this a lot, when you decide to think consciously of beliefs that you want to have and not what your ego wants to have, then you're actually choosing to lead your ego in a certain direction, and your ego is eventually going to start to actually surrender to you because you have all the control. And then your mind, your feelings are going to start to integrate with your new feelings of joy, of happiness, of, whatever resonates with you. What you need to do is to find what resonates with you, what makes you happy, what makes your heart sing, what, like, believe in faith, have more faith in yourself, have more faith in the universe, have more faith in your higher self, that your higher self is leading you in a better in a better path for you. And when you do that, you can start to ask yourself, what truly resonates with me? What do I truly want to experience in my life? What truly makes me feel amazing? What should I really take? What decision should I really take that is very much in alignment, that feels right? A lot of us know 100%. We know what to do. But we still let our ego influence us, okay? Into a different direction. And I want to tell you this. This is not me trying to tell you that your ego is bad, or trying to tell you that you shouldn't you should completely get rid of your ego. That's not true. Our ego serve a purpose. The purpose is so that we can be able to see ourselves from a certain perspective and actually have a different approach, because we are source energy, and we decided to come in different bodies. A lot of us, some of us decided to be birds, some of us are trees, some of us are humans, some of us are other creatures, but We have an ego because this ego is allowing us to see ourselves from an I perspective. Like, I am this, I am that. And that just makes source energy understand more of what it is in a more deeper way. That's why we are on Earth. Earth allows us, being on Earth allows us to be on a body, in a body. And that allows us to touch and to smell and to feel. And these things are very like intimate. And it means that we can actualize who we are better. We can feel and touch ourselves now. Like, we can be physical, and like, it's almost like we can experience ourselves in a deeper way, in a more you know what is that, what is the word, like, we can do this. But anyways, you get the point. Okay, so that's why you have an ego, and I'm not trying to get you to get rid of your ego or to say that your ego is bad. But what I'm doing is, which is very important, just raising the awareness that when you live from source, when you live from your soul's vibration, from that energy, you actually open up this doorway where you can channel information, and you can be more aligned with your higher self, and then you can be led by your higher self in a better direction that is more aligned with your purpose, where you can live your best life, where you can manifest everything that you've always desired. You can have a life of passion and joy, and everything feels easy, and everything feels like a play. It's like you're playing. Okay, when you decide to finally align fully with who you actually are, with the expression of you, the essence of you, your life is so much better and so much more fun, than if you go into a different direction of your ego. Okay, because when we decide to create all these layers of ego and then identify with it and then let the ego be on the driver's seat, it actually is not what we're supposed to be doing. That is basically something that is a little bit too intense for us as a soul, because it's too dense. We're choosing to go in different directions than what our soul has planned for us, because your higher self has a plan for you, and you have to follow it by being in alignment and following your joy and happiness. Okay, so I hope that this video helped you. I'm gonna make more in this series, so stay tuned for that. And if you like this video, don't forget to like, share, and comment, and I will see you in the next video.